All right, welcome back inside SJHL Weekly. Rory's on a little bit of a break. He's taking a break, let's say. Myself and Nugsy are going to be joined now on the video chat line. This is an exciting one for the league. We're being joined today by Warman, co-founder of the Warman Hockey Club, we're going to call it for right now, Cole Kachur. Cole, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Super excited to be here and to be working with you guys going forward here.
Absolutely. Obviously, there's so much to get into with all of the details surrounding the relocation of the Notre Dame Hounds to Warman. But let's start with, how did this happen, Cole? How did you get involved? How long has this been going on? What can you tell us about the process of how this has all gone down?
Sure, yeah. So I think I know somebody involved in the league, Rick Schultz, with the Larange Ice Wolves, and I was chatting with him one day, and we were just kind of chit chatting, and I asked the question of why isn't there an SJHL team in Mormon? And he said, yeah, there should be. It's a great community. The SJHL has been there numerous times for showcase events. And he actually said if he was younger, he might do it himself. And that was kind of how this all started. And he put me in touch with Kyle McIntyre, and frankly, we just started the ball rolling. And initially, we were thinking that we'd be going down the road of expansion, and after a lot of back and forth with Kyle, some conversations with the city of Warman, we were excited about that opportunity. But as we got further into it, it just didn't seem like that opportunity was going to be one that was going to be available to us. I just think the governors of the league at the time weren't looking to potentially add a new franchise, maybe dilute some of the talent. Just in terms of logistics, I don't think it would have worked out. So, it was kind of, to be honest, dead in the water. And just sometime around November, I know Notre Dame was kind of reviewing some of their strategic options about what they might do with the men's SJHL hockey program. And after they made some decisions about which direction they may go, it just kind of started the conversation about would we be a good partner for their franchise, and our vision for what the Notre Dame Hounds as they relocated to Warman might look like. And they were just really positive conversations. The league was super involved, as we went along. And I just feel like it was great communications by all sides. And we felt that this was a scenario where there could be a lot of winners, including the Notre Dame Hounds, the SJHL, the Warman market, and most importantly, the players, the players within the junior ranks and coming up where they could play close to home and have a really great hockey experience. So really, just from I would say late November to now, things really took off because we were kind of stuck in the mud there for a while, but some great conversations, and here we are.
So yeah, obviously, despite losing a team location, obviously it seems like a big win for a lot of people involved. Cole, for those who might not know you and your partner as well, if you don't mind maybe talking about him a little bit, can you tell us who you are and who Jonathan is as we kind of enter this process? And we're probably going to hear your name a few times over the next several months. So can you tell us who you are and maybe what your involvement in the team is going to be like?
For sure, yeah. So, John and I are both from Prince Albert, and I would say, while we're acquaintances, we're never the best of friends. But this kind of hockey venture brought us together. At the end of it, I think we're just two people who really love hockey. Myself, I coach both my son's U7 team, my daughter's U9 team. I'm involved in a lot of different aspects of hockey. With John, he's got three kids, including two that actually play hockey in the Notre Dame programs right now, who had played in the Warman program. So he's intimately familiar with what Warman is like, and he's got a younger daughter who, by all accounts, could likely be playing in Warman next year as well. So I think at the heart of it, we're just, like I said, we're good Saskatchewan people. We view community building and the better good, and we view this as an opportunity to really just bring something super positive and exciting into a community that is part of our lives in many different ways. And we're just really thrilled that this opportunity has taken place. And Now it's up to us to, make the most of it and make sure that the community gets behind it, and that we can have a long tenured franchise just like the Notre Dame Hounds have.
Yeah, for sure. No, Cole, I want to ask you to get into the weeds just a little bit of operating a junior hockey team. Obviously, most of the teams in our league, in fact, I believe all of them, if I'm not mistaken, are community owned. What's the plan, vis-a-vis you and John and the community of Warman, and the partnership that might be for just operating this team, hopefully for a very, very long time?
For sure, and to be upfront, that's one of the conditions that we need to meet for the final SJHL approval is an ownership structure that the governors of the league, the commissioner, and all interested parties feel good about. And so, at the heart of it, the SJHL is a community-owned league, and we understand that. But part of that, community ownership, there's always got to be somebody who takes the initiative to either get the team there in the first place. If there's financial difficulties, like there was coming out of COVID for some teams, there needs to be, somebody or a group of people who really step up and, take charge to make sure that that franchise would stay in the community where it's been. And so, really, we're just the co-founders of the franchise. We're going to have a lot of involvement, certainly for the first 5 years. What that looks like is to be determined. I think, in my professional life and in John's professional life, we believe in hiring good people to let them do their jobs. So we're really excited about, bringing Brett Pilkington over. We'll surround him with some good supporting staff, and we'll build out the rest of the hockey ops and the organization structure. But the plan is in the next 5 years is to have this transferred to a community-owned board, which is essentially the same structure as the 11 other teams in the SJHL. And so, there will be some uniqueness in how we get there. There is a little bit of a template to follow, as Larange kind of had a similar structure when they first came into the league many years ago. But hopefully we're going to learn from, some things that maybe didn't go as well as they thought they would there, and, use some of our expertise and try to finalize a structure that really works for all the partners involved. But I'm really confident that we will get there, and we've got some ideas, and we're looking forward to present them to the Board of Governors, and we think that, we'll get a resounding approval on that.
For sure. Yeah, I appreciate that you mentioned that, bringing Brett Pilkington along. Obviously, if you don't know, the head coach and GM of the Notre Dame Hounds since 2020, we took over from Phil Roy, who was the coach there in 2019. So, great to see him and his family potentially moving on with you to Warman. But I also got to know, obviously, it's well documented, my connection with Notre Dame. Clark has connection with Notre Dame. Everybody in Saskatchewan has some sort of emotional connection with Notre Dame. At some way or another. I got to ask you, my understanding in speaking to the director of hockey, Wade Klippenstein, at Notre Dame, is that there was intention and a desire on your and John's part to bring the tradition of Notre Dame to some degree to this Warman franchise with you. What do you kind of envision, whether it's concrete, whether it's a sort of, brainstorming, how that might look for the Warman SJHL team?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's going to be a lot of dialogue that takes place with Wade and with Charlie Skipper and, the decision makers at Notre Dame. But without a doubt, we want to honor the hockey history and the legacy that, Warman is, not only in Saskatchewan, but in Canada as a whole. And so throughout the year, whether it's various SJHL initiatives that we'll piggyback off of, or certain whether it's Hound theme nights or Warman or Notre Dame appreciation nights, we've kind of been brainstorming some ideas, and we think there will be a lot of ways that not only can we recognize the history of the Notre Dame Hounds, but also start to push that into the legacy of the new Warman franchise. And we're really excited to work with the partners at Notre Dame, just because we feel like they've been such great stewards of this program, and we just feel really privileged that we get to take over, and we're holding ourselves in a high regard here to carry on the history that they've started.
So I guess my next one is a kind of a two-part question. It's only been a few days that this has really been public now. I've seen a lot of media outlets reaching out for interviews and stuff, but let's talk locally here. From your perspective, What's the buzz been around Warman since this has been announced? Have people been reaching out? And then the second part of that question, I guess, is I know that there's some season ticket drives and corporate stuff that needs to go on for the conditions, I guess, of this all to go through. Has there been some initial and immediate buzz around that, or some people jumping in right away, or what's been the general vibes since this announcement has been made?
Yeah, well, I think from the community as a whole, it's been overwhelmingly positive. Between texts and calls and media requests, even looking online at some of the comments on different posts, and it sure seems like this is a big win for Warman if it does in fact go ahead. There's a lot of hockey people in Warman and Martinsville, the Valley. And I think, it's been kind of thought of for years here that Warman might be a likely destination for the SJHL, and it just never really came to fruition. So I think there's a lot of excitement. Still some questions about what it exactly looks like, team name, branding, those types of things. But without a doubt, any of the reaction that we've heard so far has been very, very positive. As it relates to the second part of your question, I've actually been really, really surprised with the amount of people reaching out. We've already had, a few corporate sponsors reach out, different groups that would like to partner with us on some initiatives and being involved with the team. From a hockey perspective, we've had a lot of really good hockey people, be interested in reaching out and, knowing if there's some way that they could, be involved in this moving forward. So I just think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities, and, we're really excited to see, what this ends up becoming. So at the heart of it, though, we're not quite done yet. We need city council approval. So we've went to them with a amended kind of draft proposal, which they're going to review here on their next meeting on February 24th, I believe, and then look at making a final vote. I believe it's on March 10th, where John and I will make the final presentation in person again. And then certainly it is contingent upon a successful season ticket and corporate sponsorship drive, where frankly, we need the community of Warman to show that they want a team and will support a team. From a league perspective, I don't think there's any desire to be in a market where there's not going to be a lot of support, especially right from the get-go. So my initial feeling is that we're not going to have any problem getting to, where we need to make sure that this thing takes off and is a rousing success right from the beginning. But, you don't want to count your chickens before they hatch, and we'll put in all the work. We'll make sure that, the branding looks good, the marketing is on point. And I think if we do things right on our end, that the community will come out and support us.
Very cool. Yeah, just sort of two little questions for me. Then we can move on here. But the Legend Center is one, of course, that we around the SJHL are quite familiar with the showcases, and obviously watching the Warman Wildcats, even AAA, and their organization play. Does the Legend Center need anything? Is there anything that people can expect in terms of needing to add or change anything to the arena? Is that anything that you've thought about yet?
Yeah, for sure. That certainly is part of the council proposal, where I think we need some corporate boxes. Depending on what the season ticket drive, we maybe potentially need some more seats, as right now it's furnished for just under 1,200. We really want to make some additions into just the entertainment aspect of the games as a whole. And so what that looks like, we're kind of, brainstorming right now, but it hopefully is a combination of LED, video boards, different, ways to really spice up the entertainment factors, so that people at Warman who have, some disposable income and need to decide what they're spending on, it's a no-brainer for them to come out and watch a game in the Legend Center or the Warman Home Center Communiplex, and really just have a great family atmosphere where they're watching some good hockey and feel like, that's a good use of their entertainment dollars.
Yeah, for sure. But don't do anything to the booster juice.
Yeah,
okay, because we are all just nuts about the booster juice.
The booster juice and Subway aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
If anything, they're probably going to be feeling good about the, full barn that comes to them 30 or 35 times a year for these SJHL games.
Yeah, that's the staple of events for sure for the staff for getting there to get some of that booster juice. Last question for you, Cole. Going to put you on the spot just a little bit. And
Sure.
I guess if there's Notre Dame players that are watching that are eligible to come back, maybe their families who have tuned in as well, what do you kind of have to say to them about the potential experience, billets, and the total experience package maybe that they might be getting if they make the team? Because obviously Brett would tell you that's nothing's for sure there.
That's right. Nothing's promised, but from that perspective, it will be a very different experience than I think the Notre Dame experience. It's just a different setup. You're in a large, fast-growing center right on the outskirts of Saskatoon. There's no shortage of things to do, whether it's in Warman or the neighboring communities or even Saskatoon itself. From a player perspective, we're going to be putting a lot of resources into training, skills coaching, working with some amazing partners that are really going to propel our players to have an opportunity to get better and improve, not only as hockey players, but just really as young men and or women in the community. So, I would welcome a conversation with any player, with any parent, with any potential prospect, because the vision that we're going to be laying out here for the new Warman franchise, I really believe that it's going to be second to none, not only in the SJHL, but just in Western Canadian junior hockey as a whole. And we want to keep kids at home. We're tired of seeing some of the best, hockey players throughout Saskatchewan going off to the BCHL or AJHL. Us along with the other teams, we want to keep the kids at home. And we want to make sure that we're giving them the opportunity to really thrive. And, we're excited about what we have in store. And I think it's going to be really nice for, the players and their families.
Love that. And I know right beside your face there, Cole, it says stay here, play here. And that's kind of been our model for the last couple of years. So that's definitely right up our alley in that regard. Last one for me, and then I know Nugsy has some fun ones for you to end it off. I know some people have been asking me about this, so I figured I'm sure you've been asked, or I'm sure it will be asked if it hasn't been yet. But with that AAA program in town, the Wildcats, is there going to be any partnership there, any cooperation there? What's the relationship like with that AAA team, and will this affect that in any way? I've had a couple of people ask just about that, so I figured let's air that out if you have anything there.
Yeah, for sure. We actually have a meeting coming up with the AAA team where, we're certainly going to have some discussion and dialogue. And I think at the heart of it, we'd love to have a model where, the kids playing from really Pee-wee or Bantam AA and Warman all the way up have a path to the next level. And so if that goes from, Warman AA to Wildcat AAA to the Warman SJHL franchise, I think that would be the ideal setup. It takes numerous parties and varying degrees of interest from, everybody to make that happen. But certainly we're going to view the AAA Wildcats as a partner of ours. And we sure hope that they graduate a lot of players to be playing on our roster. And we're really looking forward to having, some in-depth conversation and potentially sharing of some resources so that, as their kids are playing in AAA, if we've got the resources that we can help those kids get better and move them on up into our ranks, then I think it can be a win-win for, all the parties involved here.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, Cole, every show, I don't know if you've ever seen our show before, but every show, Rory interviews our guests with a couple hard-hitting rapid-fire questions. So are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Elkridge. Shout out Elkridge.
Shout out Elkridge.
Yeah,
yes.
there we go.
And Rory's not here, so I'm not used to this, but I'll do my absolute best. All right. First question for you, Cole. You are in investment. Banking is my understanding. What is the first tip quickly that you give to brand new investors? He's got to charge us for this.
All right, brand new investors, stay consistent, always be buying. The market will take care of things over time, but if you get too emotional, you don't end up winning. Just be meticulous and calculated with your approach.
There you go.
Love that.
Or buy a junior hockey team. One of those two things. What is your
We'll see on that one.
if you can find one that's available? I'm guessing lots of people want one. What is your booster juice order? We were joking about how important the booster juice is at the Legend Center. What's your
Yeah,
booster
I
juice
think
order?
it's I can't remember the exact name. I think it's like the Berry Blast is my preference. It's a combination of the blueberries, the acai berries, whatever else is in there. So leave yourself a little bit of blue lips when it's all done. It looks good.
There you go. Yeah, we try to drink as many of them as we can whenever we're up there. There has not been an SJHL
Booster
team.
Juice is getting a lot of free airtime here.
Hey,
We maybe need to
they should
reach out to
sponsor
them
the
for a
team.
sponsorship.
The Booster Juice Warman Hockey Club,
Well,
right
there
there.
you go. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
If they've kicking
Got
enough
a nice
cash,
ring
I'm
to
sure
it.
Cole would be down for it. There haven't been, as far as I can recollect, the SJHL team in Warman before, but there have been 3 Saskatoon SJHL teams. Can you name any of them?
The Saskatoon Titans, maybe?
That's right. Way
Is
to
that
go.
one?
Can we get a ding or something?
I don't know the other two.
Okay. Well, there was the Saskatoon Olympics and the Saskatoon Rage. But
Okay.
good
Yeah,
for you.
I was around during the Rage too. Yeah.
there you go. Good for you. Guy who's been paying attention to the SJ. Love it. What's your score prediction for Canada-USA tonight?
Ooh, geez, that USA team is looking pretty good, to be honest. But we've always got to give Canada a plug here. So we'll say 4-2 with a empty netter. Maybe another Crosby empty netter to finish it off. Put the nail in the coffin.
Beautiful. Gotta love it. Four Nations Challenge, of course.
Yeah.
Championship game tonight in Boston. Canada-USA. Gotta love it. What is the population of Warman?
Ooh.
It's right around 13,000, I believe. There's varying estimates, but somewhere in that vicinity, and it's growing like a weed. So, by the time this comes out later this afternoon, that number's probably bumped up.
Perfect. And then the last question for you. The ink isn't officially dried, I should say, on this Warman SJHL team, but it is what it is. So I will ask you, Cole, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh, wow.
Oh, geez. Now we're diving deep. I never really did well on my university philosophy courses, so we'll just take a flyer here and we'll say the egg.
Oh,
Okay,
love it. There you go.
We'll get into that. I think in segment 3 of the
Perfect.
show, we'll dive in a little bit deeper into that one. Cole, obviously, I really appreciate your time today. We'll let you get back to your family time, but appreciate that. And best of luck in the next coming months as we finalize these details. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon down the road.
Yeah, we're really excited about partnering with you guys, the SJHL as a whole, and appreciate the platform to get us out here, and look forward to getting on with you as soon as we have our branding, name, and logo finalized, and we'll make sure that you guys are amongst the first to see it and get it out there for us.
Sweet.
Well, we will do that. Absolutely. Cole, thanks so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Awesome. Okay, thanks guys. Have a great show.
So much excitement coming around the team, and we look forward to seeing more details as they come out. So we'll take another break here, and when we come back, Rory's going to come back. We're going to be joined by, I think, the commissioner of the SJHL, Kyle McIntyre, and we're going to do a little trade deadline review as well, where we look at some of the moves and talk about how they've been going so far. So stick around until after the break.